Okay, so I knew this already from watching some YouTube videos and going to some websites on how to make your own solar panels, but being a stubborn person, I like finding out things for myself. So, like I said in the previous video, this tip of a soldering iron, too small, far too small. That's the line that I tried to do with this tip. And yeah, it's not very nice at all. My panel was hot, everything was it just wouldn't stick at all. Nothing would work. I actually had to put some solder on there myself, actually get some solder with the thing. I didn't use this stuff, I used my own ring of solder. But yeah, I had to put some my own solder on, and you know, it's nice and flimsy and everything. It's not a pretty job. So I got out my other soldering iron. Now this is the type of tip that you want. Nice broad head. Now this tip is actually slightly thicker than that, as you can see, but it is a 40 watt. Now I'm actually running my little tester there, 37 watts. You can see. So yeah, and this worked beautiful. As soon as I touched it, you can see the discoloration around it, so you could see that the solder was melting, and then just slowly run it down, and nice and beautiful. Nice and beautiful, nice and flat, except that end, and look at that, I just cracked it. See, this is how flimsy these things are. Well, not flimsy, but very delicate. The other thing that also new, but you know, being stubborn as usual. Yeah, it's not going to go back there. Gloves, guys, gloves. Definitely put these on when working with these solar panels. I don't know if you can see, but this thing is full and full of fingerprints. Plus, touching your solder or your soldered bus wire and your soldered tabbing wire, because your fingers has oils and all sorts of different chemicals and salt and magnesium and all sorts of things come out from your sweat and from your fingertips. It's not good for the solder, and touching it with your fingers isn't going to help you solder it either. So yeah, definitely gloves. So this is going to be my test one. You get 4 spare with the kit, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, definitely gloves. Okay, and I think there was something else that I'm forgetting, so I'll come back. Okay, I've remembered. What I've remembered is the flux pen. Definitely need the flux. I'm not sure if you can see it in the video. Really need to get a better camera. But yeah, nice flux. What I've had a few friends ask me about is they get the flux pen and they don't see anything coming out. They're like, it's dry, it's not working. Well, the flux pen, guys, you actually have to press it in to have any liquid come out. And this was nice and dry, so you just push it in, you watch it, you see the liquid start coming out, you let go of it, and now your tip is nice and wet, and you can start putting on the flux. I've had so many people ask me about this. It's so simple, but you know, the first time I ever did this long ago, yeah, I got caught by it as well. And many of these types of liquid dispensers work the same way. You actually have to push the tip in for the fluid to actually start running. So definitely make sure that your tip is nice and wet when you start fluxing. And don't worry about if you put too much flux on all around it. That's not going to really matter. It's nice and clear anyways, so it's not going to ruin or disable the functions of the solar panel itself. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Okay, so here's my first panel done. Now, I've done it wrong, and I've done it wrong for a reason, and that's just for testing purposes. But you should always just tab front first, okay, and tab all of them like that, then line them up, space them out however you want on your on whatever you're basically putting your panel on. In my case, I'm putting it on the wall, so I'm still figuring out exactly how I'm going to do that. Probably the same way, and I'll just go one by one. But I've tabbed the back with an extra tab, 2 tabs here, and then I'll attach this to the front of another one, like this. Okay. But like I said, you should always just do the front first, line them up, and then do the back. But for testing purposes, I'm going to do it this way. And the same thing goes with tabbing these. You can see I've got my gloves on this time. Just on the back, you've got 3 little notches to tab on. Now I did start off all of them with putting my own solder on. But I will find out later on whether I really need to do that or not. I think it grabs on and sticks there slightly better if I do, but we'll see. What I did forget to do with these is to put the flux on, so that's why I was having a bit of difficulty. But, you know, I'm stubborn. I just don't like doing things in order or the proper way. Okay, thanks. Okay, so this is not in direct sunlight. It's going through my screen door. Just a little bit of sunlight that goes through the clouds and such. And this is about how much sunlight that room that I'm going to be putting these in is going to have. It probably has a bit more because it really does get some direct sunlight. And as you can see, I'm getting about 0.54 volts, and it goes up and down because of the clouds and everything else that's in the way. So it fluctuates. Also, what we will do is check how many milliamps we are getting across it. Okay, so there we go. We've got about 12 milliamps, 12.7. And again, that fluctuates with the voltage as well. Okay. And obviously, the back of the solar panel is the positive, and the front is the negative. You can just see how much, when I lift this panel up to face the sun, look how much more milliamps we're getting. So this will probably be a bit more accurate as to full day's sun in the room, straight through the window onto the wall, and we'll be getting that many milliamps. I'll just check the voltage as well. Okay, so we're at 0.8 now. We'll lift it up, face the sun. There we go. Almost 0.2 volts. Now the trick here will be finding out exactly what the best way to build up the voltage so that I get at least 14-15 volts to be able to charge a 12 volt battery. Oh, look at that, even when it's flat. I guess all the clouds have gone. Yep, all the clouds have gone. So about 1.1. So that's the trick. That's the trick with that I'm guessing that's gonna require some testing, is to find out exactly how many of these in a row I'm gonna need to get over 12 volts, at least 14, 15, 16, maybe even up to 18 volts peaker, so that I can charge a 12 volt battery continuously. I don't really care how long it takes to charge this battery, because I'm going to be just recharging small little lab batteries and things like that. I'm not going to be charging anything big. Even if it's just half an amp, that's fine. The batteries that I have like half an amp, so half an amp is good. So yeah, this is the first test, one panel. So I'll plot this data and yeah, I'll keep you guys updated.